If you've been educated at all about American history, you've probably heard of the Boston Tea Party. A monumental event that contributed significantly to America's rebellion against Britain in the Revolution. But what really was it? Picture this. You're an American colonist living in the city of Boston, Massachusetts in 1773. Things are going relatively well. You guys are currently ruled by Britain and their ruler, King George III. He's been an okay ruler so far, but there are problems and you, along with most of the 13 colonies, are getting slightly impatient. And you see, most of those problems were taxes. The British were imposing these taxes on the colonists because they needed to repay war debts from this French-Indian War. Amongst many other things, one thing that was taxed was tea, and the colonists did not like this. The Tea Act was signed on May 10, 1773, and it put a tax on tea. And you see, all the colonists, they are all primarily British, and so they liked their tea. And so they did not like this when this act came out. Oh no, they did not like it at all. However, another big reason the Americans were mad is because they did not want to be taxed without having a place in the government where they could put in their perspective. Their slogan for this was no taxation without representation. This meant that they wanted the tax laws that ruled them to consider both perspectives, the perspectives of the colonists and the perspectives of the British government. They did not want the British government to completely rule them. In a way, they wanted a way of governing themselves slightly. And since this was not happening and the Americans wanted their voices to be heard, they were mad because their voices were not being heard. And so this all culminated into this big event I've been talking about the whole time, the Boston Tea Party. But at this party, the British were not happy. Oh no, not at all. On December 16, 1773, late at night, a group of colonists belonging to an organization known as the Sons of Liberty, led by Samuel Adams, boarded a ship with 342 chests of tea. And guess what they did with them? They dumped them into the ocean. Just like that. Hey, watch it go. This was supposed to be an act of rebellion against Britain by the colonists, and it sure worked. As you can imagine, the British were furious with the colonists' act of rebellion. Soon after the news reached them on January 20th, 1774, they released the Boston Harbor Act, which closed down the Boston Harbor until all the chests of tea were paid for by the colonists as a punishment. And that was the Boston Tea Party. A ridiculously creative way of rebelling by the American colonists that added a little bit of color to the American Revolution.
Bye.